Welcome to the Creative and Ambitious Entrepreneur Podcast.
My name is Jen Clark.
And I'm Elke Clark. We are a mother-daughter team who started our Zazzle e-commerce businesses over 10 years ago and have sold $15 million and counting of products on Zazzle with our designs on them.
We had so many people asking us how we did this, so we created our signature course, the Profit by Design Academy, which teaches our 5 strategies for success on Zazzle.
When we aren't helping creative entrepreneurs just like you create profitable e-commerce businesses, we love cooking food from places all over the world that we've traveled to, jet setting to our next dream destination, spending quality time with our close friends and family, or having fun creating our next bestsellers in our Zazzle businesses.
In this podcast, we share actionable steps you, the creative, can take to make money in your e-commerce business on Zazzle. Each episode will take you one step closer to achieving freedom with your time, location, and finances.
We believe that you can have anything you dream of, as long as you work smarter, not harder. And we're here to give you the tools you need to make your dreams happen. Let's get started. Well, hey there, it's Elke, and welcome back to another episode of the Creative and Ambitious Entrepreneur Podcast. And today I am so excited because we have a special guest today, Christine, who is one of our star clients for our coaching program, and she is here to help us talk about how a VA, which is a virtual assistant, can help you with your Zazzle business. And we're going to talk about the ins and outs and how it's helped her and what kind of things she's used the VA for to help her manage her Zazzle business better and become more profitable. So welcome, Christine.
Hi, Elke. Happy to be here.
I'm so glad. This is your second podcast with us. I'm so excited that you're coming back and helping us and keep giving us an update on your Zazzle journey of success while you're doing all of the coaching with us, which is really awesome. I really appreciate that you're always so open with what you are doing and your success and how that actually motivates others to do really well. And so thank you so much for being here.
Like I said, happy to be here and thank you for having me.
So, can you just give our viewers, especially if people have yet to, and listeners, because we're doing this on YouTube and on the podcast platforms, could you just give us a little update as to where you came from in the Zazzle journey on your own, and then with us through our coaching, and where you are today, so that people can really get a feel for how far you've come?
So far, currently my store is Panga Designs on Zazzle. I actually started working on it more back in 2018, so which is more like 3 years from now. And around that same time, that's when I started working with Elke and Jen, took their course. And I guess the last time I was in your podcast, I had that year wherein I had 100,000 year for 2020. And to date so far, lifetime's royalties, I've earned already $230,000. So I'm close to hitting 250 for this year. Wow. So I'm really, really excited for that. Yeah.
Okay. So
it's been really great. Yeah.
So first of all, give Christine the snap that we use for our community, because that is absolutely incredible. First of all, let's recap. So 2020, Christine had $100,000 a year. So that means $100,000 was paid to her from Zazzle. And so that means she sold $1 million worth of Zazzle products about there, because she sets her royalty at about 10%. So, but now in 2021, and we're interviewing you here in September of 2021, and you just said 230, so 230,000. So that means that you've added 130,000 since we last talked, right? And it's
right.
In the last 8 months, really, because we're only halfway through September. So congratulations to you. Obviously, the things are working for you. You've done a fabulous job. And so congratulations on the fact that you think you're going to get to 250 by the end of this year. That's $250,000 lifetime earnings. Is absolutely fabulous. So we're super, super excited for you can't wait to see the results after, the Black Friday, Cyber Monday. It's going to be awesome. I bet you, I don't know, I can't make any income claim statements, but I think 250 is easily made there, right? What do you think? Because with all the progress that you're making, fabulous. Okay, so first of all, kudos to you. Now, that comes from core product development and making sure that your store is set up properly and that you're, doing all the right things in terms of the things you offer people so that they can actually buy them. But what I want to bring to everyone's attention in this podcast is that Christine, through our coaching, we identified that she just wasn't able to get to everything that she wanted to get to and what that was necessary for her to scale. And you can see that she has scaled and she has actually already received those results basically from seeing the things that we helped her, decide to put into place. And some of those things had to be done through what's called a virtual assistant because they were something that people weren't really, Christine didn't need to do that. It was just like rote work, repeatable work, and so on. And also she wasn't as comfortable with social media initially. And so, and also one of the things she's going to tell you is that even her internet just wasn't going to allow her to do social media as effectively. And so we said, maybe try a VA. And so sure enough, she's done that. And she's here to talk about her success and the trials and tribulations and what to look out for and not to, what to make sure that you get and not get when you do hire a VA to do some of these things to help you keep scaling your Zazzle business. So I'm so excited to start talking about this because within a very short time period, like when did you hire your first VA, for example? Was that like a year ago or was it even less?
I first worked with my VA last June 2020. So it's a little more than a year.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's been great.
Yeah.
And it's back in, June for the past year. A VA, I don't know if everyone knows what a VA is. A VA or a virtual assistant, it's more or less like a remote person who does basically anything. It's not just about administrative or like they do specific tasks, but you just think of it's like your remote worker or your remote employee who does work from anywhere for you. And so like in my case, I think especially with my business, having started as a side hustle, and I knew at that point, like I cannot do all the things that I needed to do on my own. And I kind of knew that with a lot of work that I had put into my business and actually having another job outside of my business, I knew that I needed help. So that's where I looked for a virtual assistant. So at first it started as, I don't know if you're familiar with Fiverr. Mm-hmm. It's like, you ask people to do like small jobs for you, like simple tasks, like project-based. But then I started doing that for since 2019, I guess, like doing my social media posts, like some of my captions from time to time. But then again, even to look for the right person to do my Fiverr small tasks work, it was a bit time consuming because you have to like review and do all this stuff, and you have to really still do a lot of the work. I mean, it's just a small part of what I needed to do. And that's when I decided to just hire myself my own VA. So actually, my first VA, I actually did find her through Fiverr. And then I just reached out to her. Okay, hey, I see that you've been handling social media accounts. So like actually doing it for me or doing for other people. So I asked her, can you do mine? And then, yeah, sure. Then she sent me her portfolio, which I really liked. And I think it's also important at that point because, it's going to be a long time thing. It's going to be a long-term partnership or relationship with her. So it's really, at first, it was a bit tough because you need to talk to her about what your brand is, what you want your social media content is going to be like, what do you expect of her, and like also just putting in like what kind of results we want her to give you. So it's not just about giving her the task. You have to actually see or actually know what are the goals that you're trying to achieve.
Yes.
Like to be measurable about it, and that like just giving her the task and like it's like you have, even though it's like it saves you, it actually saved me a lot of time. Because when I hired her, to be honest, I don't know any social media. Even personally, I don't even have my own Instagram account, like handling it. Even my Facebook, it's empty. So when it came to the point that I needed one for my business, so that it's gonna give me exposure, I guess, for my business, I didn't know. So that's the mentality I had. It's like, if you don't have any idea how to go about this skill, or you don't have any skills on this, find people who are.
Exactly.
And that's how I actually found Elke at first, right? Like I didn't know anything about Zazzle, so I really searched like how to. So same thing. So that's one of the reasons why I hired a VA. Basically, it's like you have to have like the certain systems of work. Like if you have to have like the certain procedures that you've been doing, and then just delegating it to someone else. And that's what the VA does. She just basically helps you, takes some of your work, and that gives me like the freedom. And I guess most of my time right now, it's more on things that I know it's much more effective on my time. Basically more revenue generating activities, something like that. Yeah.
Well, Christine just explained it well in layman's terms, right? Because that's the whole point is the way that Christine is running her business effectively as a manager, CEO, boss babe. Because she said, hey, my time can be much more effectively spent creating things that make more money, like the revenue generating activities, rather than the stuff that's, you have to do to get that exposure, to get that promotion, and get those people who can see that you're in business. But if she doesn't know anything about it, then she can hire someone that does and who can do it so much quicker. And so I think that's really important from a standpoint of understanding that you're actually contracting this person. You're not taking them on as like an employee, but you have to treat them like an employee. That's why just Christine talked about how she had to tell them about her brand and what she expected and what kind of results she wanted. And also what's the language she uses and what does she focus on in terms of how she wants to talk to people through her social media platforms. And so even though, as Christine said, it takes a lot of time initially to get that person up to speed, but then afterwards, that person, whether it's a he or she, can actually do that work for Christine. And then Christine can do the work that no one else can do, right? The stuff that Christine is good at, that started her business and made her business grow to start with in the first place. As we all know, anyone who's doing well on Zazzle's limitless. We can earn as much money as we possibly can. All you have to do is keep providing more and more beautiful products up on the Zazzle marketplace that are desirable for people. So with Christine's skills that she's been building up with her designing and with her market skills, where she knows what people want and she can deliver on that, whether she buys graphics or doesn't and creates her own, she's all set to go. But no one else can do that. She needs to do that. Whereas on the social media platform, it's easy to take the thing that she's developed and the product that she's made, take a picture of that, and then put it up on the social media platform, whatever that might be, Pinterest or Instagram. And so that part is what I would call like sort of the rote tasks or the things that you just have to keep doing, but they're not the ones that require the genius behind the marketing and the designing skills. So I think it's absolutely fabulous that Christine not only invested in herself initially to figure out how to do Zazzle, but also keeps investing in her business by understanding what's important for her to do and what's important for someone else to do, because she just has a limited amount of time. And even if you don't have, and this is what I want to really point out, is even if you have the time, if you don't have the skill set, like Christine said, if she doesn't know anything about social media, doesn't even have her own account, but if someone else knows how to do that, why not hire them to do that work because it is a necessity, right? It is part of running your Zazzle business and making it successful. And so this is something that she identified and she needed to do. And so she didn't think twice about, like, we haven't even talked about money. She hasn't said anything about like, oh, it was too expensive or whatever. She just says, I need it. I need this person to help me. And so she knows that that's what you do when you're trying to scale your business to that degree. And as we mentioned at the beginning, it's been working quite well, hasn't it? So 230,000 lifetime earnings on Zazzle within a 3-year time period, or is it 3, maybe 4 by now? But Paul, that's really, really great. And it's just going to expand and keep going. So thank you so much for telling us that journey. So now can we get into some specifics? Like you said, Fiverr, which we'll put in the show notes. That's one site where you can go find people. Is that the one you would recommend we all go to just to start out with, and then do some interviewing with people to see how they fit with your style of working and how fast they bring, they do things for you and all that stuff?
Another site, well, another place that you can actually find VAs. But the thing is, it's like me, myself, I'm from the Philippines. So from just knowing, there are actually a lot of Filipino VAs. And I've even before, like that's one of my side hustle road paths I think I tried to take before, like how to become a VA and how to earn online. And one of the places where a lot of VAs are active are on social media itself. So like on Facebook, you can just maybe join groups like looking for VAs, and you can just maybe post an ad about it. And then let me tell you, there's a lot of people is just going to type like, I'm available, here's my rate, and maybe you want to work with me. But in my case, you can maybe start if, like, for example, just my recommendation to people, like Facebook, you can post your ad, but at first, it's not just about just posting an ad. You still have to know
when you say ad, it's not like a paid ad. It's just like your postings in the group saying, hey, I'm looking.
Yeah, just post like a regular person, like, hi, I'm looking for maybe this is especially for beginners, like me, I'm still a beginner. So you can just maybe put an ad like, hi, I'm looking for an entry level VA. If you want someone to experience, okay. If you want someone with no experience, you just type it in, then people are just gonna actually answer to it, like post a DM or post a comment. And then what you should do is actually, if they do, you ask them for a portfolio. Of course, you have to see what their skills are. But if it comes to a point wherein they're still brand new, or they don't have a portfolio to show, you can ask them, okay, can I just maybe give you a task that I might possibly have you do for me, and let's see if that is a fit for us. And then if I think that what your skills are is what I'm looking for, then okay, maybe we can just still try from there. So yeah, that's one place, like Facebook. And then I guess there's other sites like Upwork, but I'm not really too familiar with it. But yeah, Facebook, there's a lot of VAs internationally, not just from the Philippines.
Have you heard about the Profit by Design Academy coaching program yet?
Are you a new or current Zazzle designer who is struggling to figure out how to make Zazzle work for you? Worried that you're wasting your time using the throw spaghetti against the wall to see if it sticks method? And unsure how you can start and scale your Zazzle business to reach your first 5K month?
Then the Profit by Design Academy coaching program is the perfect solution for you. You will feel confident, supported, and clear on how to create your dream Zazzle business.
Imagine having the exact 5 strategies that we use to build and scale our Zazzle businesses, which have sold over $15 million worth of Zazzle products so far.
And it's not just us. The 5 strategies taught in the Profit by Design Academy coaching program and the coaching support have helped our clients sell over $6 million worth of Zazzle products so far.
Head to the show notes to grab the link, and we'll see you inside the Profit by Design Academy coaching program. Now let's get back to the show. I think too, and you bring up a really good point. Ask them to do some work for you. That gives them so much. Like, first of all, it doesn't sort of just ask. You don't just ask them to give you like words back, as I call it. Because they can always tell you something, right? But proof is in the action. So if you give them a small task, and like you said, on Fiverr, you started by doing it just by one-off tasks, then you can, and you know the set rate, so you know you don't have to commit to a huge amount of money initially, and you're just trying it out. And then if they can really, like if once or twice or even 3 times, if they consistently deliver what you want, then you can go a little bit deeper. But you can also do some, like I like what you said, that you were looking for someone that actually knew more about social media, so that they could set you up properly, because that's a lot of what our creative artist audience doesn't know about, is how to really do social media very well. And so you, as an artist or as a creative that's on the Zazzle platform, you can actually be very specific with the people that you're asking to do the work for you. They should have like a little bit of a background and maybe not be just a beginner, because you don't have the ability to teach them. You just need to be able to get taught by the person who's actually doing it for all kinds of other people's accounts. So you could also ask things like, well, who else do you do the accounts for? And can you give me their links so I can see what it's like? And how much of that account do you personally handle, or do you get a lot of input? Because I know that Christine, when we were talking beforehand, we were talking about how much she gives her VA as advice. And so we want to get into that in a minute here. But yeah, so that's another way you can qualify them. And I think that's the really important part, is like you can get in tight, like sort of dip your foot in the water, get started, see how it goes, and try a few. And then if it clicks with how you work and what you want out of this relationship, then you can start to create something that's more long-term. And I'm assuming that what you did is you offered her like a contract, and then you filled out something. And in that contract, and I do that with my own stuff and for our courses, you have to make sure that you're very specific. You outline specifically what it is that they are supposed to do and how many times they do it and what kind of deliverables. And so even though you're giving off that task to someone else, you still need to know what has to happen and how much of a success you want from that in order for it to be outlined clearly when you're making that relationship or connection with your VA. So that's super important, because you don't want to get into this situation where it's not clearly outlined and you hope something happens, but they don't understand what you want. And then you don't like what they're doing. And then there's a bad relationship. And then you go like, I'm never having a VA again, which is not okay. You actually, if you're expanding and you're building out your Zazzle business, you have to keep growing and adding to your team, even if they're just contract work, or you make it automated. But in this case, social media is active, not passive. And so therefore you need that help. And that's why we're doing this episode. Okay. So do you want to move for, like, do we have that covered in terms of the like hiring? Do you want to say anything more about hiring? Did you do a contract, and for example, and then do you want to give us some average rates, do you think? Or is that just very, very different depending on what skill sets?
Well, actually, since my VA, she's already like experienced, I guess. She was the one who actually gave me the contract.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know. Yeah, she was the one who gave me like her contract. And then of course, on top of that, it's like her rates, like her usual rates, for her personally, I do pay her like $200 a month for around 4 or 5 posts a week for my Instagram and Pinterest. So I think that's her working rate. So I know that's a good time. That's a good amount of money for me to spend on that, because like even before I did social media with her, I would spend a lot of hours just thinking of what I could post, how to schedule it properly, like even the captions. I'm a creative, but I'm not creative with words. So that's one of my like non-skills. I don't know anything about that. So it really helps. Like, I know that it's going to help my business. It's going to help me with my time. So my time is much more better served doing that, because $200 for me, I can earn that faster rather with a little amount of money, but yeah, it saves me a lot. Yeah.
No, that sounds very reasonable. And I know maybe some listening aren't even getting $200 a month from Zazzle as an earning. Obviously, you wouldn't spend that right now, right? You would look at like if you're not yet in our Profit by Design Academy coaching program, then definitely I invite you in to join us. But the idea is to first, and this is what Christine did as well, is first focus on your inventory, right? Then it's time to do the social media. It's not, and I've said this in our coaching program strategy session yesterday, is that we really just are so, we have it backwards, right? Initially, what we as sellers, when we first got onto Zazzle, we would say things like, oh, well, I'm not selling so much because I'm not doing social media. But it's actually, you should be selling without social media for some of your core things, and then social media will scale you up. It's not that, like, if you do social media, but you have a bad design that doesn't seem to be appealing to anyone, then you're still not going to make a sale, right? And so when Christine knew that she had these core products that were doing really well in selling, with the designs on them that she has made her signature brand, then that's when she could really scale up her social media and get more people. Because that also means that the dollars she's spending on even helping the VA get her message across is money well spent. And I'm sorry, I'm getting a lot of messages on my computer. Sorry about that. But yeah, so that's really the key here is that by the time you get to that stage in your business, like let's say you're probably like maybe even at 25,000 or something, or 50, you could start to consider getting a VA to put that effort in for you rather than doing it right at the beginning. Because yeah, and by then you will be making enough money to pay that VA and still pay yourself. Okay. So, and then I think you mentioned something else. I want to get back to that quickly. I loved how she gave you the contract and that there were already so many posts. And, trust them if they're already doing really well with other people's social media. They know the frequency. They know how many posts. They know, what's trending right now. Is it reels or stories or, move videos for Pinterest, that kind of thing. And then if that's what they're willing to give you, then holy smokes, that's going to save you so much time. Because as Christine said, I'm the same way. I struggle to do my own posts, and I'm just really happy when it gets done and that it's actually effective. Okay, so what other advice do you have? Did your contract, that's what I want to ask, did your contract go for a certain time period and then at that point you would renew, or how does it go?
When first started, actually, we started with like 3 months at first. And then after the 3 months were done, we just talked about it and said, okay, I'm just going to do this on and on, just continue on. And yeah. And we've been working for more than a year now. So far it's been really great. Yeah. So it started out as the beginning, just 3 months, just to see if it really works out between us. And it's like a training period for us both, just so I know, what work does she expect from me, what I expect from her. It's a curve. It's a learning curve at that point, but afterwards, it's much easier. Yes. So much easier now, yeah. But we started at 3 months, and then when we last talked, to renew it again, I said, okay, I'll just have you do my accounts for the next year, and then after a year, we'll talk about it again, and then okay, you can do it again, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. So that takes care of the contract and what kind of working relationship you have. But now talk a little bit more about what you do on a weekly or monthly basis to keep her guiding her, because it's not just here you go do it and then that's it, right? You still have a lot of contact with her.
Yes. Well, with her, because I know, even those, if you see my social media, for Panga Designs on Instagram, you would see daily content, not even daily, weekly, maybe 2, 3, 4 times a week of posting. But personally, I don't work with her weekly or daily. We just have what our schedule is. It's like at the end of the month. Like, for example, for my content for the month of September, like for this September, we already have it all set out by the end of August, the last week of August, wherein she would just send me like caption templates, like maybe just fill in the blanks, like, okay, I'm thinking about, what are you thinking about today? What are your goals for this month? Maybe we can post about that. Or what kind of products do you want this month? And I mean, sometimes, like, since we're talking about social media marketing, I even had her email added to the Zazzle promotions email so that she would be informed of what are the possible promotions that Zazzle is going to put through, which she can use for my Zazzle account, for my social media account. So she knows like what products that I need to promote, because Zazzle will be promoting them soon. So it's also kind of putting them in the loop of what Zazzle's doing, what kind of accounts should she follow. But like for the work itself, yeah, you still have to do some work with her at least a month, like a month before, or maybe 2 or 3 times a month. And yeah, there's still some work, but it's just really minimal. And then you just give her instructions on what to do. But yeah,
So
I just work, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So actually what it is you sit down, you say what's happening for the next month. You also review the promotions that Zazzle has coming up, and then you decide on your strategy and let her go do the work. And then she gives you maybe some drafts back that you can just approve and say, that's good.
Yeah.
Schedule it out. So that's fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like maybe an hour or so a month or so that you are dealing with her at most over a period of time, or
maybe 1 to 2 hours a month. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's great. It's a fabulous return, because before you said you were doing hours and hours just trying to think about one post, and then now it's working. And this is, again, for anyone who's listening, this is for social media, for Instagram and for Pinterest. Do you also
Pinterest.
and do Facebook as well, or just Instagram and Pinterest?
With her, I think, because for me, well, I kind of wanted to know where my audience was. Mm-hmm. So that's also good. One thing is I think for my market, it's like millennial market. Like, yeah. So I see a lot more traction actually in Instagram and then on Pinterest as well. So that's where I just decided to put all my social media efforts in, just my social Instagram and Pinterest. And what's also nice, it's that sometimes whatever I do post in Instagram, that gets automatically posted on my Facebook. So it's just a one-time thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, fabulous. So thank you so much for everything that you've shared with us today, and your experience with your virtual assistant, and how that's just become so easy to add to as part of your Zazzle journey to success. And you've just dropped a whole bunch of really cool, bombs of knowledge bombs here, because that was really informative, even to help your VA know what's going on with the Zazzle promotions. That was a big one, right? That you know that, and then how you made sure that you had a really good working relationship with your virtual assistant, and that, of course, that all of this for the price of $200 a month. Now, obviously, if you're doing this and watching this and listening, you may have a different setup and a different price that you have to pay for your VA. But on the other hand, in Christine's case, $200 to save her hours and hours every month, and she's getting a lot of results on her promotion. I think it's worth it to do that investment in your business. So thanks so much for sharing that with us today. And I'm sure that if you are, interested, that Christine might even pop into some of the comments wherever we post this, and she might answer your questions if you want afterwards. So thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in another episode of the Creative and Ambitious Entrepreneur Podcast. Thanks so much, Christine.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you so much for listening to the Creative and Ambitious Entrepreneur with Jen and Elke Clark.
We hope this episode has given you actionable steps to start and scale your Zazzle business so that you can have the passive online income to have location and time freedom to live your dream life.
If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a minute to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. Each review helps us reach more creative entrepreneurs like you working to create a profitable e-commerce business.
And don't forget to take a screenshot and share it on your Instagram stories and tag us at Miss Jen Clark and at Elke Clark. We'd love to hear your biggest takeaways from today's episode. See you back here next week.